Hi Leo, and welcome to your mid-April sort of updated reading. Okay, so please allow me to take this opportunity just to send any blessings to you all. You know, I really hope you're safe from harm and people that you love are safe from harm, and essentially that all beings are safe from harm. I'm going to pull you one additional guidance card before I shuffle the rest of the deck. You get go the distance, endurance, really. It can be, you know, go the distance represents me. There's a lot of qualities in the human spirit that we don't tend to appreciate. They tend to be things like endurance, like very sort of Saturn, very Capricorn qualities, going the distance, not giving up, keeping your eye on the goal. So this is the message for you. So let's see how this is playing out. I'm going to pick 6 cards. And what I'm doing, Leo, just to be clear, I'm really working with my cards and offering a guidance rather than I don't want all my readings to be catastrophic. And in one way or another, we're all going through a little bit of a collective trauma. So, and it's not about spiritual bypassing, trust me on that one. But I wouldn't be able to do these unless I asked the guides, the cards that I work with, to provide a way forward. So advice about how to manage your process, things like that. Okay, so I hope you're okay with that, because if not, it'd be as traumatic to do the reading, and it's just not going to work that way. So can you please give Leo some guidance, some support in navigating this ocean at the moment, which is very choppy and very wavy. 6 cards, please. I can imagine as a fire sign, and that energy to go forward must be so hard when it's held back. Beautiful. You've got some grace. Now the gift is a death card, so don't worry there. So let me find out more. The challenge is the Page of Swords. This is some sort of change, and this might be change at the past, or some Leos are using this opportunity to go within, to let go of what needs to be let go of. 10 of Pentacles in your relationships. The Lover's card underneath the Death card. Wow. And Temperance is the outcome, which means that you're riding the wave. Okay, now, I mean, what I'm finding, Leo, and I don't know if most of you are finding it the same. Look, I'm fine for a few days and this wave of the 9 of Swords hits me. And I think basically that is the human process. But what I love at the outcome, I mean, this is Sagittarius, but she's floating on the water. So she's not drowning in the energy. So the water would be our emotions, particularly our emotions. So you imagine to keep yourself above water. Other people's energy is a 10 of Pentacles. So 10 of Pentacles is very much about stability. A lot, potentially very, very, very good money news. So behind you is a Star card. Beautiful card to show up. A Star card is about grace. Grace is the fabric of this universe. Nothing happens without the spiritual laws of grace. It's like even a baby doesn't grow without there being some sort of natural law. I call it natural law grace. It's about remission. It's if anyone's been ill. It's tuning into this energy This is the energy, I would say grace and the Ace of Cups is the energy that's going to navigate people the best through this process, but particularly grace. And we can call on this energy to support us, to fill us up. Now the gift is a Death card. So for some of you, I just have to say, through some sort of change that's happened, there's been some sort of gift here. But the Death card is a gift, is a very, very, very powerful transformation, transmutation really. So some huge shift is going on here for you, Leo. Could be a Scorpio person. This would be an Aquarius and a Sagittarius. So you get loads of different relationship dynamics around you. But the gift of death, there's some sort of gift that maybe was once a loss, if you understand where I'm coming from. So what was once a great loss in your life, you're now maybe even beginning to see the gifts in it, because there's been a I don't use the word transformation, I use the word transfiguration. There's been some sort of huge gift from it. The Death card is about letting go. So letting go of, trying to let go of as much tension as you can. And it's underneath the Lover's card. So I don't know, for some Leos, there's some really great change going on in a relationship dynamic. Other people's energy is a Ten of Pentacles. So the Ten of Pentacles is a very, very stable card. Doesn't get much more stable. Probably the Hierophant to be stable. But this is a card of wealth, prosperity, maybe other people, if some Leos are having some struggles, are receiving financial support. That would be a great way. Or everything starts at the Ace and ends at the 10, which means there's some huge completion going on here. And I think it's to do with some sort of relationship. And now the challenge is the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is about communication. Be careful of the Page of Swords communication, because he can be quite cutting in how he communicates. There's absolutely no evidence to say that's the case. But the Page of Swords sometimes communicates in a way that's quite brash. He's quite cut off from his heart, or there's not a lot of communication with you and someone else. The Page of Swords is also showing up as people's, I mean, don't laugh, but the internet been really slow. So the Page carries the Ace, and it tends to be an action card. Not many people are going to act right now, and your reading is full of major arcanas. So major arcanas are the hands of the divine. So we're not in charge of them. We can't control them. They are these forces of lessons and energies that guide the soul through life. There's a huge guiding principle happening here for you, Leo. Now the challenge is something to do with action and communication. I'll see if I can clarify this Page of Swords. Tell me more about Leo's challenge over the mid-month. Yeah, Two of Swords. So the Two of Swords is like non-action, and the Page of Swords is a challenge. So it's almost like, and that go the distance card. So I wonder if the go the distance card is almost like go the distance card is with soul qualities. I made that quite clear. So it's almost like there's a huge process going on here. There looks like there's some potentially very, very, very good news around finances, but there's this energy of delay and non-action. Now that might just be dealing with time, because everyone's life's gone into this pause. What hasn't gone into a pause is energies of the soul energy, because we're constantly evolving. If we're staying still, if we're acting, we're all in a process of evolution. But the challenge is that goddamn Two of Swords, and it's almost like there's this huge process going on for you. I think it's to do with a relationship. I think it's to do with grace, being open, because both of these are very watery cards, Temperance and the Star card. But they're both about keeping your head above water, being at peace, because Temperance is very vulnerable. And so is the Star card, because, I mean, the Star card, she's totally naked, and Temperance has only got this little bit of clothing on. So it's about not overguarding yourself. It's about being open, being transparent. I think particularly in a relationship for some of you. But the biggest struggle is going to be in it's almost like this might be people who are in isolation, so they're not able to it's like, you know, these sort of they're not able to move forward in a situation. It's almost like being in isolation. That's exactly what it is here. I'm going to pull you another card, because tell me something between the Death and the Lovers card, please. What connects these two cards? The High Priestess, which is pretty much the challenge. And what's the Ten of Pentacles about? Oh, other people's energy looks outstanding here. You get the Sun, you get your own card, illumination, openness. There's an awful lot of openness. But the challenge is this, and what I'm calling it, bear with me, is the whole planet's in a pause. And I don't know if this pause means there's a lot of openness, there's a lot of transparency, there's a lot of willingness to be vulnerable, to be seen. But the Two of Swords is a card of non-action, by the way. So with all this beautiful energy, you seem to have some sort of pause going on. Now, when I started doing your reading, I was really sort of trying to reduce the stress levels everyone's on, the cortisol levels. And I tried to get through all that to try and bring some sort of soul message to you. Your cards are full of soul messages. The messages seems to be about grace, about a state of openness. Some relationship is going through some massive change. And I would say, because the Death card is the gift, it might be for some of us. You know, sometimes things don't work out the way that we plan. I think everyone knows that. And then we suddenly understand the why of it all. So things begin to make sense. Things begin to make sense in our life. All we do is become more open. We become even more transparent. And I guess we learn to trust more. And again, I guess we learn to have more faith. Because Temperance is sort of like that. She just, she's my Buddha card. But she's about the middle path, no extremities of behaviour, sometimes keeping you calm when other people around you are losing theirs. That's what soul qualities are, Leo. And I'm not saying we do all the time. I think there's waves, and there's waves where I am the royal family of the tarot, and other times I'm on my back, and that's okay. But there's a fantastic message about openness to you. And again, this sort of challenge seems to be about action, because the Page of Swords is quite an active card. He communicates, he goes forward. And the Two of Swords is like, no, you don't. You've got this blindfold on. But Leo, it's a golden blindfold. So it's not like the Eight of Swords. It's like this sort of whisper that there's some mighty soul qualities coming forward. It might actually be coming through your relationships, but also something that's saying stop, breathe, take it easy. It's all happening. And I don't want to use but in my timing because someone will hit me, but that's exactly what it is. Okay, Leo, I don't know if this helped or it made remote sense, but what I know with your energy is, and the messages that seem to come through, is something much larger playing out in your life. Okay? So, much love. I'll do my best to keep posting. And again, Leo, just be safe from harm. And much love. Okay? Bye.